Hi everyone. In the given problem statement, we are given a question of simplify path. We are going to given an absolute path for a unique style file system which always begin with slash. Your task is to transform this absolute path into simplified canonical path. A single period represents the current directory. A double period represents the previous or parent directory. Multiple consecutive slashes, for example, double slash can be treated as a single slash, and a sequence of period that does not match the rules of the above should be treated as a valid directory or a file name. For example, these are valid directories of the file name. And there are a few certain conditions that are given. So let us take the first example with slash home. So out here, we are going to split this entire string based on this slash. So we can write it, let's say this would be a variable s. So s dot, we're going to use this split function and we are going to split it based on the slash. So if I look into the output would be something like this. There would be some spaces, there would be one home, and there would be another space out there. So we can ignore, let's say we can type in out here, right? If split, but the list that we got, right, out of this current list we do not want the single dot, because single dot would be the current directory, or in case if there are blank spaces within there, we can ignore these two conditions. So ignore this value. Now once you have got that, so let's say take this example of slash home double slash foo. So if we got this value foo, once I ignore this value, and the other would be home. So we can join this entire string using the join function using the slash. So our output would be home slash foo. And because it's been given, right, a path must always start with a slash. We can add the slash later on. There could be a situation. Now this is a stack problem. So how do you solve a stack problem? For example, slash home slash etc slash my data double dot double dot media. So out here, right, if I do this, let's say if I do this splitting, right, and ignoring the single dot, we're going to get my data, then double dot media. So if I add this value to our stack, let me add it to our list. So initially, right, our stack is empty, so we're going to add home, then etc, then my data. But as soon as I get this double dot, right, we are going to remove the top of the element. So top of the element is my data. We're going to remove it. Then again, we are getting double dot. So we can remove that etc. And at last we can add media. So our output would be something like, after I join this value, it would be home slash media. This will be our output, and as I keep on reminding, we have to start the path with a single slash. So a single slash could be added. So this is a very simple way. Only thing right out here, you have to take care of this double dot, even though in the test case it's not clearly specified, but we as it's written, right. So if double dot comes, then you have to go to the previous or the parent directory. So now let us jump to the Python solution for the given problem. The first thing that we're going to do, right, we are going to split our path based on the slashes. So path, and we can add p dot split with the slash. Now I want to ignore certain things. So if p not equal to the empty blank spaces and p not equal to dot, then we can ignore this and let me add it to our list. So p for p in, and this would be our function, so it is going to give these values properly. Now we can define our stack, which is going to be an empty list. Now we're going to loop through our path. So for p in path, if p equal to double dot and if length of stack is greater than 0, then we are going to remove the element from the top of the stack. So stack dot pop, else we are just going to add that value to our stack. So stack dot append p, and at last we are going to return, we are getting a list, so we are going to join it with the slashes. So join our stack, and I keep on mentioning that the output should always start with a path, should always start with a single slash. So let me add that single slash and let me run the code for now. For the public test cases, let's see. I'm getting an error. Yeah, I made a mistake. It would be not p dot split but path dot split. Let me run it back. I hope everything is fine now. As you could see, the public test case is passed. Let me submit the code. So the time complexity of it, right, would be big O of n. And as you could see, it is beating 18, which is lower. Now it's 100. So I always find it very funny that one time it's 18, other time it's 100. So very misleading, and I don't know, many people judge your submission based on this time complexity. But out here, right, so it would be the first thing, right, you have to loop through that entire list and split those values, so that would take big O of n, and the second part would be, again, we are going to loop through that entire list. So I could assume the complexity would be big O of n, it would be too big O of n, but anyway, our time complexity is pretty efficient for this type of solution. So that's all for this video. See you in the next one.